On this episode, we'll be starting work on the turbo all-wheel drive Celica ST185 GT4.
I heard a testimony and it changed my life for real. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So this is the real deal. Turbo all-wheel drive GT4. Like, we all know anything all-wheel drive and turbo is what you want, except WRXs. Only kidding. Anyway, this was really a barn find. Some dude on Facebook Marketplace had it up for sale and just said Celica, but we saw it had a turbo bonnet, so we went and checked it out. And it had no driver's or passenger window. It had the ignition played with. It had, like, someone tried getting it with a screwdriver. It had bones in it. I'm serious. It had bird's nest in the front and the rear with eggs in it. It had rats in it that were chewing half the loom. It had so many disgusting things, like branches from trees. It was just really sad to see something like this that is so well, like, there's so much history behind these cars for their rallying and stuff, and someone just left it in a front yard for years or months, which was sad. So that's why we are here to fix this thing up. And we did get it for really, really good price because of all the stuff that was wrong with it. The guy honestly didn't care about it, but we really want to fix it up and bring it back to an A to B car. Like, the plan is not to make this push some crazy power, big turbo. The plan is to full on bring it back to life. Make it look back to its factory look. Make sure everything's running perfectly, that there is no more bones, that there is no more crap in it. Just make sure everything runs perfectly, and make sure that this barn find is capable of driving on the road. And there's a lot to do, but a lot of it is ready to go. And yeah,
this is a 1990 ST185 narrow body GT4 Celica. Before the Evo and the WRX were even thought of, Japan developed the GT4 Celica, which made history in the World Rally Championships for years, and is still known to this day as an icon in the rally division. This homologation model came factory with some cool extras, such as electronic lumbar support, automatic AC, racing inspired seats, and a 10-speaker sound system, but most of mine were missing. Which leads me to my next point. This GT4 has been left, abandoned, forgotten about, and is in need of restoration. Every dint, every mismatched panel, every part that's missing tells a story that we could only wish we knew what happened.
so this is a 3S GTE. These are also found in an MR2, twin entry turbo, but awesome stuff. Just such a cool engine for its time. The technology for this car at the time, this is a 1990, and the tech this has got on it is just so cool, so cool. But anyway, as you can see, there is just some weird stuff. Like, it's like got this just sitting here touching nothing. We got some rusted out struts. We got one coilover, one non-coilover, well, camber top it seems. We're missing the intercooler top. There's a few things missing, and believe it or not, this is super clean compared to what it used to be. And yes, that is a rag in where the oil cap should be. But that's what we're here to do. We're here to fix everything. But like I said, this is super clean compared to what it used to be. There was so much dust, so much animal parts and goo and all sorts of stuff living on this engine bay. We were so surprised it even started. It was just, couldn't believe it. But we have fixed tiny things, like it did have a misfire. one of the wires was to one of the sensors was chewed off, which were fixed, and that stopped the misfiring. So it runs pretty decent. It actually runs pretty well, but like there's just crap everywhere, and it's really sad. But after a year's time, we finally have everything we need to complete it and get it back on the road. The best part about this car is that everything we need is here. So our job is to put all this stuff onto the car and make sure everything works properly. First job we will be doing is putting in some stock suspension. From what we know, there are coilovers in there. They're fully adjustable, but like some of them have camber tops, some of them don't. Some of them are pissing out oil. Some of them are just, yeah, they're just not the best. So we're going to put the stock suspension back in. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward, but we're going to be starting from the ground up. We're going to do suspension, brakes, check underneath, because we don't really know what it's like underneath. I have checked it before, but we're going to really check everything out, all the bushings and stuff like that, to just double check that everything's there, and it's good to be able to drive on, you know. So let's get to it.
As you all know, the first thing to do is jack the car up. As I was looking for something to undo the wheels with, Adam appeared from the Celica's butt with what I needed. Adam and I both believe that this unique car doesn't need a whole lot of modifying to make it something awesome. In fact, we both want to see what this car would have been like straight out of the factory, how it responds, how it drives, how it reacts, and then we can see what it needs, and modified. Two big bolts at the bottom, 3 little ones at the top, making it super easy to replace these coilovers. But you may need some muscle.
Oh, dude, why am I so hopeless?
These coilovers have seemed to be in the car for a long time. Maybe someone installed them in Japan, maybe someone installed them over here. Just another mystery to the pile. Jacking the wheel hub up for both bolt holes to align. Surprisingly, the really dirty brake pads and brake rotors are actually to spec. They haven't been used that much. So until we take it for a drive to see whether they need replacing, we shall bleed the brakes. For a more detailed explanation on how to bleed the system, go check out our last episode where I upgraded the brakes on my R34 Skyline. strange reason, one of the guard linings was in the boot. Another mystery. Maybe because that whole guard has been replaced. Another mystery. Wow. Some $10 kit off Wish that supplies all the clips you need is the best way to go.
So the stock suspension's in the front. We checked the brakes. Everything seems really good. We got brake pads. Discs are just a bit rusty. We bled the front brakes. Everything looks really good. We put the guard lining on the other side, which was missing, which was obviously in the boot. But everything's really good here. We had a look underneath. There's no real dramas. All the CV boots and everything look really good. So everything's just really dirty. So that's all done. And we moved on to the rear and we found out that one of the rear coilover on this side had been rubbing on the tyre. We heard a bit of a sound every time we drive it, but we didn't realise it was this bad. So someone just didn't know how to put the coilover in, or yeah, we don't really know the story. But let's go fix it.
Being a liftback made it super easy to access the rear suspension. And yes, there is a lot to get through.
Look at that. Some eggs.
Oh, nice one.
No way.
Makes life super easy when you have two people to put it in the hole, if you get what I mean. Now it's time to bleed the rear brakes. While the car is jacked up, we wanted to have a detailed look underneath. And once again, everything looks really, really good, but just really, really dirty. It's almost like every boot and seal has been replaced just before it was left to rot. Really weird. I don't think I've ever said this before, but this car looks so much better at stock height.
So judging by the parts in the boot, we've still got heaps to go. So like I said, we did the suspension, did the brakes, or we didn't really upgrade any brake parts, we just bled them. There's still a heap more life left in the pads and the discs. They've just sat for a long time. So stay tuned, there's heaps more to go, and this is going to be one hell of a project. See you next time.
Next time on Calamari, we keep your eyeballs super satisfied by replacing every tiny little bit of the interior. Also finding how much stuff really is in the boot. We put the factory wing back on, replace the old broken parts with some new parts, and I replaced my first window. Stay tuned and see you next time.
Alright, go. Yeah.